All right, fellas, welcome back, man. Here back after a long week. Good to see everybody again. Good to have you, Big Trav.
Glad to be here.
Hey, you, Big Jarvis, man.
What's up? Glad to be here.
Man, I just love these conversations that bring us to the table, man. We've already tackled some big ones, man. Already tackled thoughts. Already tackled belief. Mm-hmm. And I mean, of course, we haven't completely taken them down because you can go on talking about these things forever, man. But today we're gonna get into fear, man. I know that's one that's probably on a lot of people's mind, consciously or subconsciously. You know, right. Fear is just a big part of how we operate. You know, I know we were talking about earlier before we came on, just whether we thought fear was a good thing or a bad thing or not. Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, no emotion is necessarily good or bad. It's the application of the emotion. So, I mean, I guess we can kind of just start there, just on your opinion on that subject. Whether you feel fear is a good thing or a bad thing, or why you feel whatever you feel. I guess, Trav, man, we're going to throw this to you first, man. As far as fear, good, bad, and different, what's your views on it?
All right, well, my view on fear, man, is I would have to say it's a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing depending on what it is that you fear. You know, like, just for example, we were talking earlier, and I told you before, me going into the gym. One thing I feared the most about going into the gym was getting on the bench, doing bench pressing. But after I faced that fear, like, that's the first thing I do when I go in the gym now. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that fear was actually a learning experience for me, and it made me see that things that I fear I shouldn't, because at the end of the day, it probably be so much better for you if you know what I'm saying, just face that fear. But on the flip side of that, I say that fear can be a bad thing if you let it. If you the type of person that just out here sleeping with all these different women, you know, but you fear being a father or feel responsibility of taking care of the kids that you make, but you know, you don't have a fear of sleeping with these people, but you just have a fear of responsibility that come with it. And you know, there's something wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? That's taking what you have and using it in a bad way. So that's why I say fear can go both ways, just depending on what it is that you fear.
I like that, brother. I like that. Big Jarvis, you gotta. Do you have an opinion on this, on fear, as far as the usefulness of it or the detriment of it?
Yeah, of course I got an opinion on it. Travis pretty much took the key points. I mean, they're both, like he said, good or bad. I say reason why it could be bad is because sometimes you let that fear hold you back from progressing. Pretty much like transitioning your life to another level. Far as, like I mentioned earlier in our podcast, procrastination. You know, fear of, you know, doing stuff accordingly on time instead of holding yourself back. You know, that's fear. You know, so that's, you know, a key point I can think of where I'm talking my mind. A good thing, I don't know.
I got one for you.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of no good.
Big old 110-pound pit bull right here, right now. You glad you got a little bit of fear in you, ain't it? Right?
Right, yeah.
You know,
true.
Because fear is instinctual sometimes.
Yeah.
Pit bull come, you don't want to be thinking, oh man, should I run? Should I? You know what I mean? You want that thing to kind of kick in and get you up out of there. Yeah. You want that adrenaline to start pumping. You want to. Just like the other night when we were at team, what we were at? What's the name of that thing, man? The speaking Toastmasters. Here we go. Yeah, and the lady was saying, you know, when you going up to speak, yeah, your chest beating, your mouth kind of, you got a little cotton mouth, palms sweaty. But in a way, that kind of lets you know that you're ready, right? Yeah. It kind of lets you know, hey, something about to go down.
Yeah.
You know,
good anxiety.
Yeah, it's a good thing, man. And try, man, just off the word that you just said, man, anxiety. I'm glad that you brought that up, man. Fear takes a lot of forms. Mm-hmm. Worry, doubt, anxiety. All of these things are fear. They're all fear based. To be honest, man, I guess this would be a good thing that we can kind of work next. It's really only two things, right? Mm. You got faith, belief, which we already talked about, and you got fear. is there really any middle ground? Can't you kind of group everything into one or the other category? You got faith, and then you got fear. You know what I mean? Yeah. And Jarvis, I really like what you said, man. It's the application of fear, right? Fear is okay until it becomes paralyzing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
Once fear stops you from moving, now it's detrimental. No emotion is a bad emotion. You know what I mean? They're all necessary. They all give you an indicator that something is going on. They're like a check engine light, right? But check engine light come on, you don't get a check. That's a problem. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I guess we kind of covered the gamut as far as, you know, good or bad, right? There's really no one or the other. It comes down to the application. Right. I think today, man, it'll probably be beneficial, man, just to tie fear into a bigger conversation. Okay. Right? Relationships. And I know the beauty about this table is different perspectives of relationships right here, right? Yeah. We got two married men. We got a future married man, right? We got a brother who's still on the search, you know what I'm saying? Looking. Yeah, you seek, you shall find, my brother. Right. Yeah, man. But just relationships, man. And I think that our personal experiences will be really good, you know, in this portion of the conversation. Right. Our personal experiences may be able to help a lot of people. Because when I think of myself, right, and my fear as it relates to relationships, to be honest, growing up in the African American community as a male in Savannah, Georgia, relationships basically were about sex, if I had to be honest. You know what I mean? That was the whole point of it. It was actually like a status symbol. And how fear played into it was, if you weren't getting it in, then you were an outcast. You know what I'm saying? You were an object of ridicule. You were somebody to be laughed at, somebody to be picked at. And really the whole loving, caring, sharing part of the relationship, you were oblivious to that, right? Right. It was about getting them numbers up. You know what I'm saying? And isn't that crazy how your fear of perception, your fear of how somebody perceives you will drive you to do things that you probably know is not the best thing for you to be doing? You know what I mean? Drive you to STDs and babies, babies that you're not ready for. All the broken relationships, you know what I'm saying? Right. Because even if you don't have a baby per se, there's a birth that takes place. You know what I'm saying? You enter into a physical relationship with a woman, you can say what you want, man. It builds something. Something grows from that. Right. Something is birthed out of that. Some kind of connection is birthed out of that. You see that girl 20 years later in Walmart, that little thing that you birthed 20 years ago is gonna kind of be like, oh, that's shawty. You know what I'm saying? You gonna feel it. You know what I mean? And this ain't my conversation, man. I know there's plenty of stories to go around this table. You know what I mean? Take up the whole podcast. Right. But man, I'm gonna go and flip it, man. I'm point guarding. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna pass it either way. You know, I'm multi-dimensional with it. I can go either way, man. Whoever want it first, go ahead and take it.
So, fair relationship.
Yeah, you the single man. You the single man. What you got?
Yeah, since I'm a single man, my biggest fear is this fear of my time being wasted. That's just it. Like say I meet someone and they tend or seem not to be the right person. Like all my time, investing and trying to invest in you, all that is going out the window. I could have been investing that time in something else. Okay. That's my opinion. I got you. So that's one of my fears, and searching for a relationship, not being in a relationship, but searching for a relationship. That's
something I never even thought about. If I could put it in a term, it kind of sounds like is that a fear of failure?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, fear of failure.
Well, I just had a quick question for you, Jarvis.
Here we go.
When you say you got a fear of wasting your time, right? Yeah. So I don't want to get too far off, but when you get in a relationship, is that how you go in a relationship thinking?
No. Like I said, I'm looking into my life. Me being a single man, I'm searching because I'm not in a relationship right now. But no, like once I get in a relationship, no, I feel like, you know, I don't have fear of waste of time because I feel like I already made up my mind that I want to be with you. So now let's invest into each other and, you know, help each other progress to be better people at the end of the day.
Hey, think deep into this now, even subconsciously. You don't think that there's this underlying fear that maybe I'm wasting my time? Like, if she does something that you don't like, could that be blown out of proportion to, man, I'm wasting my time?
I mean,
that's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, when something goes wrong, does that fear kind of deter the whole relationship? Does it blow things out of proportion? This honest man, ain't nobody judging you, man.
Nah. Yeah. Nah, I mean, but like subconsciously as a man, like you gotta think like something like a woman do and like should that might like kind of get to you. Be like, man, is she playing me like you see her keep picking up a phone and keep like who she texting, like you feel me? Like, am I wasting my time with you? Like, I mean, that's just
so she can't text though.
I mean, you know,
I feel what he's saying though.
Nah, I feel it.
It's crazy how them fears drive us though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She could be texting her mama.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. That's just like as a man, like that's your first. Just like, man, who she texting?
Listen, bro, don't ever forget. My wife got 5 sisters. She always on her phone texting. Yeah, we've been married for going on 5 years, but you think sometimes I don't be like, I know she ain't still talking to her sisters. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy how that still pop up, ain't it?
It do. Even though I know I shouldn't. I'm not doubting my wife in any way. I know, you know what I'm saying, that
she down.
Right. I know it ain't nothing like that. You know what I'm saying, but it's just still like, man, every time she get a text, she over there giggling and laughing. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up?
Yeah, man. Hey, I mean, Trey, you got anything else you want to elaborate on?
Well, no, but as far as myself, man, when it comes to fear in relationships, I would say one of my biggest fears I used to have in relationships would be just feeling like I wasn't good enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just always had to do better or compete with whoever you was with before me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that job just kind of always mess with me in different relationships, and but as far as marriage, I don't think I really have a fear, you know, in marriage. It's just more of a just dang, I could have done this differently, or dang, I shouldn't have said it that way. You know what I'm saying? It's just more things I should have. You know, well, now I know next time that you know, you're still working on, even no matter how long you've been married. It's a long road. Bro.
It's a long road, man. and even in my marriage, man, I would probably have to say, man, I kind of got a fear of being great sometimes. Kind of got a fear of letting certain things go. Because if I let it go, man, I might be a punk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I can't let her talk to me like that. I gotta put my foot down. I gotta go back. I gotta fight. You know what I mean? I gotta. It's just a wrong view of it. You know what I'm saying? And that fear, man, it's a driving force. It's like we said, man. It's just like faith. And it's some things that happen that really on the back end, I come to the realization they really wasn't that big of a deal. You know what I'm saying? Some of the arguments, some of the disagreements, it's like, man, that was stupid. But it's that fear complex to where I can't let this other person dominate me. Right? Even though it's a partnership, my faith says that this is a partnership. We're together. We in it for the long haul. I can submit this and I can get that. It all sound good up there on the altar. You know what I mean? But really, in the midst of war, in the midst of the fight, man, you know, once you get hit, you kind of get frazzled sometimes. Sometimes your technique kind of go out the window and you just start swinging back. You know what I mean? So that fear, man, being able to use it properly, one thing that we were kind of discussing earlier, or a concept I'm trying to actively work on, is sensing it, right? Knowing when that fear is there, knowing when that worry is there, that anxiety is there, that stress is there, knowing when it's there, understanding that it's there, being presently aware, right? Mm-hmm. And understanding that just because it's there doesn't mean I have to act on it, right? I give you the example, man, just like what we were talking about earlier. I'm inside Barnes and Noble. I'm browsing the shelves for a book, and I noticed two young ladies to the right of me having a conversation. Now, back when I was younger, and it's crazy how this has stuck with me for over 20 years. I remember being rejected twice by females in elementary school. And all of my life, ladies at the church, oh, you so handsome. My mama, you so handsome. My aunties, you so handsome. But I feel like they supposed to say that, right? You know what I mean? But once you are judged by your own peers, if that is not swiftly dealt with in a proper manner, it could kind of go sideways. Yeah. So kind of growing up after those two rejections for girls that I'm in elementary school, but I really thought that I liked them, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Those rejections kind of threw me off for a little while. Mm-hmm. And it became this fear of speaking to women, or this fear of going out, and basically a fear of rejection at that point, a fear of not fitting in at that point. And that has kind of derailed me for years because I've never really been able to be myself around women. And I know a lot of people would think that that's crazy because I've had a lot of relationships, a lot of sexual encounters with women, but that's exactly what they were. I wasn't being myself. I was being what I thought I was supposed to be, right? I thought, like I said, it's a status symbol. You know, you get as many girls as you can. You run your numbers up. You run them up. Yeah. Now, I remember in college, man, some of the boys I was rocking with, they was putting bets on it, how many you can, you know what I'm saying, how many you can take care of in a semester. Yeah. You know, money in a pot. And I'm like, man, it's crazy. And I know it's not all cultures. My God, why it got to be ours? But it's crazy how that is, right? Mm-hmm. And you kind of go along with that, or this fear not fitting in. Mm-hmm. But back to the story, man. The young ladies are having a conversation that I'm actually very interested in, right? And I want to join in on it. It's a good conversation. And why can't I, right? Mm-hmm. But I feel my heart rate increasing, right? Book slipping out my hand, you know, my breathing getting more shallow, and boom. Then I become aware. I'm like, oh man, that's fear. And I start analyzing it. What am I afraid of right now? It's that same fear of rejection. It's 7 years old all over again. Yeah. All over again. And it's over, right? I'm still reliving these realities that are over with. That's not even going on right now. These girls don't know me from a can of paint. You know what I mean? But in the point where I say this is fear, right? Mm-hmm. And I come to the conclusion, right now it's not helpful. There's no pit bull right now. There's nothing chasing me. I'm in no danger. I do not need fear right now, right? Yeah. I take that deep breath and I go ahead and introduce myself and let them know, hey, I think y'all having a good conversation. I actually agree with the thoughts that y'all are having. And bruh, it turned into a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? It turned into a very productive conversation. And what was so encouraging about it was it made me feel like these conversations that we're having like this are not for nothing, right? It's people out here having the same conversations. It's people that actually share our viewpoints that are our age. These young ladies were in college. Very intelligent, very, very conscious, very aware of what's going on, right? And Trav, man, you kind of gave me a smirk, you know what I'm saying? As far as was it something in that example that kind of sparked something in you?
Yeah. It's just when you was just talking about, you know, when you in a certain situation and you feel that fear, you gotta analyze it first, you know what I'm saying, and tell yourself like, you know, I don't need this right now. Like what I'm scared of.
Right.
Perfect example. Yesterday, man, I'm at a training. I had to go to a training for my job. And I already know what the training is about. You know, we in there doing moves and wrestling, going flipping down to the mat.
Teachers?
Yeah.
Y'all scared for real.
No, it's just in case it gets to that level, it's just showing teachers how to be trained, how to properly restrain a child. But even prior to going to the training, like getting there, it's like I got this fear in my mind. Like, all right, I know when I get in here, I'm gonna have to be in a group with people, and we're gonna have to be doing not moves, but different techniques, and you know what I'm saying, things with each other. I'm like, man, I don't really know. I ain't gonna know the people. You know what I'm saying? And it goes back to my fear of being in relationships, just not being good enough. Like, hey, I might not be good enough. I ain't gonna be doing them right. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be in here looking stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But so it's just like, dang, that's all right. You know it's coming just based on how the training going. The palms start getting sweaty.
Yeah.
And, you know, all right. So we gonna get in the groups. Everybody get in the groups too. You know, pick a partner. So I'm like, dang, you know, looking around. But I'm like, man, what I'm scared of? You know what I'm saying? I do this every day. I'm around people every day. You know what I'm saying? What I'm scared of? So a guy walked up to me. He was like, hey, man, let's be in a group. You know, I'm trying to find somebody about the same height as me. So I'm like, all right, you know, bet. You know, and that, after that, you know what I'm saying? It was great from there. Like,
you were free to be yourself.
I was free to be myself. We talked about college football, you know what I'm saying, what school he worked at. Another guy came over. We started having conversations, you know, got each other contact information. You know what I'm saying? Just more outlets, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just for being stuck. Like we saying, being paralyzed from my fear of being around people because I thought I'm not good enough, or I wasn't going to do it right, or you know what I'm saying? Something like that. So you gotta be mindful of it, like you say, and be able to tell yourself, hey, man, I ain't got nothing to be scared of, what I'm scared of.
First and foremost, you have to notice the inner dialogue.
Right.
And then, if necessary, you have to challenge the inner dialogue, right? Mm-hmm. And I think the two biggest ones, man, are probably fear of the unknown and, like we were just talking about, fear of rejection.
Right.
Right? One of the things that I cannot stand about church, and it's not church, it's me, it's my fear. Look to your neighbor and tell him this, and tell him that, and talk to him about this, and talk to him like that. And I'm like, now if I'm sitting next to somebody I know, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if it's a stranger right there, and good Lord Almighty, don't let it be a female, don't let it be an attractive female. Mm-hmm. It's like, man, I'm about to be lame doing this job. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, this job can't work out right. It's so paralyzing, man. Yeah. But when I say, once you are educated and you actually know what's going on in your mind, I'm glad that we did the subconscious mind before this. I'm glad that we did belief before this, man, because it all ties together, right? Yeah. This stuff is going on subconsciously. All of these paradigms, all of these preferences, all of these assumptions that we have gathered are going on subconsciously. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm sure that if somebody had very good experiences growing up, as a young kid, 7 to 8, as far as getting along with people, interacting with people, and they did not have a fear, or they had nothing to be fearful of, if for some reason people gravitated to them or something along those lines, even though they have fears, I'm sure they may not have these fears, right? They may not even understand a fear of rejection or some, they may have other fears, but these may not be their fears, right? So yeah, man, fear, man. Fear is something, man. When I think about it, man, fear is really something, man. So, what can we do, right? Mm-hmm. We know that fear is a part of life, right? Mm-hmm. What can we do? How do you move past it? How do you move past the parallelism? Or is that a word? Mm-hmm. How do you move past? How do you move past the moment when fear has paralyzed you, right? Mm. When fear has paralyzed you, what do you do? And I'm actually gonna speak last on this, man. I'm interested in the other opinions. You in a situation, paralyzed, right? You stuck. You standing in quicksand. You know what you want to do, probably what you need to do. What do you do when you can't move? And this is not just situational now. This is life, right? You know you can't stand your job. You can't stand it. But you gotta keep the lights on. Got kids. Gotta put gas in my car. I'm scared to leave this job. Right? That's all I got. It's not just situational. You know, I don't want to just break it down. It's fear is a wide ranging thing, man. It shows up in a lot of different scenarios. Right. So just in general, we don't have to break it down to one situation. In general, man, what do you do?
First thing come to my mind is this: as growing up, my teaching from my grandma down to my mom, just step more out on faith. Like, just gotta lean more on your faith. Like, somebody might be a picture person, and I might compare a picture like one end of the bridge is your current state, the opposite bridge, the opposite side of the bridge is your destination. So, say like we on the Savannah Bridge. My current destination is Savannah. I'm trying to get to South Carolina. That water is that fear, but that long bridge is my faith. So if I just keep going, build up on my faith.
I like that.
I'm gonna get to my destination.
You old imagery type of man, wait.
Yes, it is.
But you painted a perfect picture, though.
Yeah, man.
You like painted a perfect picture.
And it's true. Like say if my faith ain't that strong, like if my faith ain't that strong, I might just end up falling off that bridge. But if my faith is good, and I got a solid faith, I'm gonna get to my destination.
I like that, man. We're gonna before we end, man, we're gonna come back to that.
I don't even know if I can't even talk, man.
You know what I'm saying?
I ain't got nothing to say.
I mean, yeah, I'm saying that's how I was born and raised on, man. Just stepping more on your faith, and I'm still trying to, treat that more in my life today.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, that's really the only way because I don't really think faith is. I mean, not faith. I'm sorry. Fear is not something that you can, like you say, it's a part of life. So it's always gonna be here.
Right.
You just gotta know how to deal with it. You know, you just gotta have, like it say, faith. I like that. Walk by faith, not by sight. You know, so that's all it is, man. Like you just gotta face them fears head on, run through them, keep it moving.
I like both of them, man. And I'm going to kind of tie what both of y'all said together and just put it as practical as I can. Action. Mm-hmm. Right? The only thing that overcomes fear is faith, which is action. If the word says to walk by faith, it says to walk. Right? Action. To take a step.
Right.
You don't have to take all the steps. The only way to get across the bridge that y'all was talking about is one step at a time. Yeah. Right? If you scared, that's cool. You just got to do it scared. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. I'm scared. I know that I'm scared. I am presently aware in this moment. I feel the fear. I have analyzed it and realized that it is not useful right now. I'm going to do it anyway. Right? Mm-hmm. And the crazy thing about doing it anyway is something that I cannot describe, but fear is an illusion. Right? False expectations appearing real. Yeah. It's an illusion. It's a mirage. And the thing about action is once you take action, the illusion must disappear. Because now you have proven it wrong. Now that I have proven, once I started having that conversation in Barnes & Noble today, I felt the fear no more. Yeah. There was nothing. We was talking now. Yeah. There was nothing else to fear. I was too far to turn back now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There was nothing else to fear at that point. And job was just that same imagery that you painted. A staircase, man. You know, you got to leave this job, or you have to make some kind of change in your life, some kind of major change. This person, this job, this something, right? Mm-hmm. And you can't see the end. That's cool. You're not supposed to see the end. Right. And that's where fear comes in, right? Mm-hmm. Fear, because fear says...
Unknown.
Yeah, it's the unknown, right? I got... What about all the steps in between? Mm-hmm. I got to do this. I got to do that. No, actually, you don't. You really don't. You do not have to do all those things. Eventually, you do. Yeah. But as far as the now, which is what you should be living in, you should be living in the now because it's actually the only moment that you have. Right. What other moment do you have? You might think you got some more moments, mm-hmm. and hopefully you do. Mm-hmm. But the only one that you for sure about is now. Right?
Yeah, tomorrow ain't guaranteed.
But nothing. Tomorrow. Later ain't guaranteed. I'm trying to watch Bama at 8:30. I hope I make it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Now, I got faith that I will, but hey, it ain't my call.
Right.
You know what I mean? And Hey, unlike money, man, God hold on the time for you. You ain't got to worry about spending that. Yep. You know what I'm saying? He is your personal banker. Mm-hmm. He will hold it for you, and he will distribute to you in small portions at a time. Right? You know what I'm saying? You make all the plans you want. And you should make them. Don't get me wrong. You should make them. But they're not guaranteed. Right. But stay in the now. That is one major way to overcome fear. Because if you got to be honest about it, there's nothing wrong with the now. All of your fears are for something in the future or from something in the past. Mm-hmm. There's nothing going on in the now. Like what I was saying as far as, and I keep, it's the same example, as far as in Barnes & Noble, that fear came from something that happened 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. Right? They had never done anything to me. They had never rejected me. They had never done anything to me. There was nothing in the now that was wrong. It was something from the past that was displaying itself in the now, giving me this false expectation that it was not going to work out for me. Right. This little snotty little girl ain't want to take my flowers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't had no flowers. This wasn't that kind of party. You know what I'm saying? This was something totally different. But the mind, we've already talked about it. The mind is built off consistency. The mind is not built for you to be happy. It's built for you to survive. Well, let me say this. Not the mind, the brain. The brain. The brain, okay? Not the mind, the brain. The brain it's a survival mechanism. It don't care about all that. Mm-hmm. All of that, is this right? Is this wrong? Should I do that? The mind don't care. The mind is about the same thing you did yesterday, you're going to do today. Because it's consistent. Right. If you weren't driving off those bridges yesterday, you ain't driving off those bridges today. We don't rock like that, bro. Same thing. If you weren't going to the gym yesterday, if you wasn't on that bench press yesterday, we not getting on it today. Why would we do that? There is a chance that something could go wrong and that we won't make it out of it. Right. It's a survival mechanism, right? And the fear is actually a protective thing, right? And like we said, sometimes it is useful. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we should be fearful, right? And sometimes we should not. And that's where the mind comes into play, man, to decide between those situations. Is this a time to be fearful? Is this not a time to be fearful? Right. And folks can say what they want. Oh, man, you're talking to yourself. You crazy. Hey, put me in the crazy club. You know what I'm saying? Because I tells my brain what it's going to be. Mm-hmm. Hey, dog, not this time. You know what I'm saying? Yep. As far as if it comes down to spending money, whatever it comes down to, oh man, I'm not gonna have enough. Hey, listen, I don't rock like that. Try how many trips you invited me on?
A few.
Do I go?
Nope.
What's my reason?
I don't know if you got it.
All right, man. Hey, I got something going on. Well, I ain't gonna have enough, right?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, the next one, I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going. I don't know how I'm going. But I'm gonna take that first step on that staircase, or I'm gonna take that first step across that bridge that I was just talking about. Cause guess what? At the end of the day, if I pay that deposit, it's non-refundable.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm going. You know what I'm saying?
Make a way.
I'm gonna have to make a way at that point because I'm not losing $75 or whatever it may be. I'm not losing that. Yeah. So now I gotta find a way, and that's how faith works, man. It's overcome by action, right? Right. So man, hey man, I hope we can really help our listeners, our viewers out with that, man, our audience, man. Yeah. You got a fear you want to overcome it with action. And I've talked to two older people in the last few days. Not older, right? Older than 27. I think one of them is probably in their 40s, one of them in their 50s, and I'm talking to them about their current situation, right? And they're saying that they're not happy with it, right? So I'm throwing all kind of ideas. Oh, just do this. Just do that. Just do this. You try this? They like, bro, what? I ain't got no money for this. I got this going on. I can't do that because of this. They telling me every reason in the book why they can't, bro. They never once told me one reason why they could. I told the lady today, sell the house. Like, I ain't got no money for that. You got a house? Yeah, I got a house. Sell it. What you mean sell it? Sell it. Where I'm going to stay? I don't know. You figure that out after you sell the house. Because this is the thing. Right now, you don't know where you're going to stay because you have somewhere to stay. Mm-hmm. If you sell your house, you will have nowhere to stay. Guess what? You'll find somewhere to stay.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? You're worrying about step 2. We're not talking about step 2. You say you don't have enough money. All right. You don't like the job anyway. What you need a house for? So you can leave a job you don't like, come home to a house, sell it. You'll figure out step 2 after you sell the house. My man telling me all this that's going on. All right. Make something shake, bro. Sell the car. Catch the bus. I bet you they give you $20,000 for that car. Sell it. Make your dreams happen and then buy a car. You know how to catch the bus. But I'm not gonna go down there.
I posted something the other day, man. It kind of goes into what you just said about when you was talking to the people and they were saying they don't have this or they need this. I don't know what I'm gonna do about this, man. It's not about what you don't have. You know what I'm saying? It's what you think you need. It's what people think they need that keeps them in that paralyzed state of fear, or just keeps them from being successful in life.
Post it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Well, you better start putting all that fire on Facebook, boy.
Yeah, man.
I like that, boy.
Yeah, it's not about what they don't have. It's just they in the mindset of what they think they need. You know what I'm saying? You got everything you need. You just gotta go for it. You just think you need this because of probably something you saw or what other people said. When really, you got everything you need to be successful and, like we say, just control these fears. You got everything you need.
Right.
You just don't realize it.
I like that, man. Hey, if I can wrap it all up, man, I just want to leave with one more thing, man. If you got fears, man, make sure they're the fears you want. All right? Make sure they're the fears you want, man. If they fears from 10, 15, 20 years ago, make sure that they still useful.
Yeah.
We already said, man, the brain don't care how long it's been a fear. It's working for me, right? I'm still alive, so apparently it's working. Yeah. It's built on survival. As long as you don't die, the brain checks it off as it's okay. Mm-hmm. Make sure the fear is still working for you, man. I'm telling you, man, I'm still a little fearful of snakes. I think I'm going to keep that one. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I'm walking around high grass and trees and limbs and stuff, I'm on the lookout, right? I know that there's a chance they can be there. Yeah. I'm going to hold on to that one. You know what I mean? But as far as this speaking to people and this anxiety in public and all, man, that ain't working for me, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of my hands slipping off the steering wheel. I'm tired of that drive. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of it. I'm too old. I've dealt with it for long enough. It's done. It doesn't work for me anymore. I'm going to drop it.
Sure.
Literally, I want to drop it. Not saying that it won't exist anymore. Just saying when it comes up, I'm going to, 1, notice it, and 2, I'm going to take action anyway. I'm going to do it scared. Hey, man, that's all I got, man. Trial, you good?
I'm good, man.
Good job. You exhausted everything?
Yeah, I exhausted everything.
You empty?
I'm empty.
All right, man. Hey, I don't want to leave if we're not empty. We empty?
We empty, man.
I'm empty,
think it
man.
was a great discussion.
I do too, man. Hey, this is our 3rd one, man. And I tell you, I'm actually starting to get excited now, right?
Yeah,
like
me too, man.
this podcast day. You know what I mean? Especially when we come up with the topic early in the week, just to meditate on that thing all week, man. I tell you, man, I think we're doing something, man. I don't know what we're doing, but it's something.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I appreciate your time, Big Trav.
Appreciate you being here.
Big Jarvis, I appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, it is,
Hey, listen, man.
likewise.
Hey, listen, we're going to go on. We're going to have a good week this week. And whatever we have to do, even if we're fearful, we're going to do it scared.
So.
For sure.